Okay, now we have our second Hort Legend interview for today with Dr. George Fitzpatrick. So welcome, Dr. George. And our first question to you, what is your horticulture specialization and what are the primary position you have held?
Well, over a 35 or 40-year period, I didn't have the same horticultural position. You could call it I either changed or I evolved or I was promoted at various times. But for most of the time that I was with the University of Florida, I was part of the academic program part. I was the coordinator of the horticultural program at the University of Florida's Fort Lauderdale Center for a number of years, and I was also the coordinator for the academic program in horticulture at the Homestead Center, the Tropical Research and Education Center. My research changed over the years. For most of the time, I was working in horticultural substrates. Earlier on, I did a lot of biochemical work. And even before that, I wasn't even a horticulturist. I switched into horticulture. I moved into horticulture from entomology. I had been a horticultural entomologist at working in citrus, and then I liked horticulture better, so I moved over.
That's a long career. So what has the horticulture mean to your life and your career?
Well, it's been a very satisfying career. I did try a lot of different scientific type work. I had summer jobs in salt marsh ecology. I had summer jobs in engineering. I had a postdoc in forestry. I tried a number of things, and one of the finally I found the thing that I liked the best, and it was horticulture.
That's great. So what do you consider to be the most rewarding part of your career in horticulture?
I think of all the things I did, the most rewarding was being the undergraduate advisor for hundreds of students over a 25-year period, and watching the students grow and watching them mature and watching them meet their educational objectives. I also mentored some younger faculty members at the University of Florida. And I've also had quite a few graduate students, and seeing them perform and seeing them um, develop into full-fledged mature scientists, I think that's the thing I like the best.
I agree with you. So how long have you been a member of ASHS and how has the society influenced your career?
I joined ASHS, I think it was in the early 1980s. I think it was 1983. And I missed a few of the meetings early on. I went to the 83 meeting. I missed a few. I had medical issues in 84. I was in the hospital. I couldn't go. But I've attended most of the meetings right up until the COVID time. And the thing I like best about ASHS is when they have their conferences, whether it's the national conference like the one we're at now, or some of the regional conferences, you get to meet a lot of new people, and you get a lot of new insights. And sometimes the insights are accidental. One time, I was given a poster paper at an ASHS meeting. Must have been in the late 1980s. And poster papers, people come up and talk to you, but there's gaps where there's nobody. So I started talking to the man who was right next to me because he had a gap. And he was giving a poster paper on landscape plant establishment. And he showed me how he measured the transplant stress by using a pyranometer, which is an instrument that measures infrared radiation, converts it into temperature. And I had heard of it, but I never had it explained to me. And when I got home from that meeting, the first thing I did is I went out and bought one. And that's just one example. There's many more where you meet people that you weren't necessarily expecting to meet, but you learn things. Sometimes you learn things that you want to learn, and some things you learn things that are complete surprises. And they do a lot of good. My students, when I started, one of the classes I taught was arboriculture, and we did a landscape transplant stress lab. And we had been using pressure chambers to measure leaf water potential, which is accurate, but cumbersome. They loved the pyranometer. And we were able to graph one set of data with the pyranometer data, and we got great agreement. So I learned a great deal from a chance encounter with another presenter that I was able to take back and share with my students. And
Yeah,
that happened in other cases too, but that's just one example.
I totally agree with you. Like, no, every time I attend a meeting and go back, like, no, I have something is like, no, a new protocol. I wanna to try it,
Yeah.
or like, no, a new equipment. I
Yeah.
wanna to, like, no, as you said, like, no, get it and try it, or like, no, a new, like, no, for DNA, RNA, like, no, purification kit. So always, like, no, any meeting when I
Yeah.
go back, there is something like, no,
Yeah.
I have to do
Yeah.
that I learned from this meeting.
I'm
That,
retired
that
now, and when I go home from this meeting, there's going to be something I'll want to do based on what I hear. I don't know what it'll be though, but I bet you that'll happen.
Absolutely, there is a lot of new stuff. So, what advice can you offer to a student or young professional in horticulture?
That's a hard one, but I think the best advice I could give would be to try different things. Don't immediately jump into the first thing that interests you, because most intelligent people are interested in more than one thing. And sometimes a person wants to be a plant breeder, and that's all they think about. And then when they graduate and they look for jobs, maybe there's no plant breeder job, but maybe that person would be good at something else. Maybe that person would be good at embryology. Maybe that person would be good at some other specialization. If you have the ability, I even took a postdoc in forestry because I was interested in forestry. And by working the postdoc, I realized I didn't want to be a forester. Not that there's anything wrong with being a
Yeah,
forester, but by working at it on a 15-month postdoc, I said, well, maybe horticulture might be a little bit better. So if a young person is thinking about a career in horticulture, my advice would be to try different things, try different specializations, and decide after you've tried some things what you really like. I think that's the
yeah,
best way to find out.
that's a great advice. So, what excites like you most about the future of horticulture industry and profession?
The horticulture industry is really shifting. It's really evolving. It's really changing rapidly. Last month at the Florida State Horticultural Society, I was asked to give a brief talk. And one of the themes of the talk was the challenges of horticulture. And I looked back into the older records. I looked both ASHS records, journals, and FSHS, and some of the others. And there have always been challenges, but they've always been met. One of the themes on the talk that I gave last month was exotic invasive pests, and we have a lot of them, and we're going to get more. But if you look in the past, the horticultural scientists and their collaborators worked out ways to fix it. Worked out integrated pest management schemes, worked out biological control schemes, worked out genetic resistance schemes. So we have a lot of challenges now, and we're going to have more. But by having well-educated, resourceful people, I think we'll meet them.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. George, for this interview. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.